The Israeli military says it is escalating all residents of the northern city of Kiryat Shmona as clashes continue with Hezbollah fighters along the border with Lebanon. It comes as concern grows about Israel's conflict with Hamas spreading wider across the region. Now let's get analysis. We're now joined by Professor Hennie Strydom, Professor of International Law at the University of Johannesburg. Prof, thank you so much for your time. Now, the Israel-Lebanon border has seen constant but so far limited clashes since the war in Gaza started 2 weeks ago. Just explain this parallel conflict that we are seeing between Israel and Hezbollah on the northern border, and of course the fears that the conflict is likely to spread to across the region itself.
Yeah, I think we see these clashes on the Lebanese border for the simple reason that it will be sort of very dangerous, I think, for everybody in that area if a second front is opened. But that's not the only area where we have seen a sort of expansion of potentially the conflict that's now raging in Gaza. And that is, there's reports about attacks on U.S. military bases in Iraq and Syria. And it may seem that if the evidence is correct at this point in time, that the threat may also be taken to that part of the world. And that could involve other countries in the region. We hope not. But we have to be wary of this and observe the situation as it is developing.
Now, several world leaders, including our very own President Cyril Ramaphosa, are set to meet in Cairo tomorrow and to try and intervene in the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas. How significant an impact will this Cairo summit for peace be? Just given Israel's determination to flatten Hamas, as they say. They've been also threatening of a ground force invasion of the Gaza Strip.
I don't think it will have much impact on the current conflict. It's quite clear that we sit with a leadership problem on both sides, on the side of Hamas and on the side of Israel. And the destruction is on both sides. It's not only Israel destroying civilian targets and people. Hamas has done the same. It actually provoked that. And when you have a situation of this kind, the parties involved will pursue the military option as long as I think that will bring the goods that they want. And as long as I think the objective they want to reach will be reached through military force. The question we have to ask is not whether the Cairo sort of event and the protest in South Africa and the solidarity with Palestine will solve this issue. I don't think so. Things like this happen frequently when we have armed conflicts. The question we have to ask is, who has the power at this point in time to end the conflict? It's only Hamas and Israel. And they will have to sort things out. The other problem we sit with Hamas is it's a radical group which denies the Israeli statehood and who has objected to the two-state solution. And I think the two-state solution is really the only option for both parties, for both regions, Israel and Palestine. So as long as you have a group of leadership denying that, you will have a very difficult situation in trying to solve this issue on the basis of a two-state solution.
In fact, Prof, that is what South Africa is calling for, over and above the fact that it is calling for a cessation, saying that this two-state solution is the only way in which this conflict will end. But when we look at the situation currently now and some of the rhetoric and the language that is being used by Israel in the sense that they are constantly bombarding Gaza, to what end? The question is, if they get rid of Hamas in any way, shape or form, to what end will it help with the fundamental issues that are constantly, that are occurring now in Israel, between Israel and Palestine? Will Israel then sit around the table and have a conversation around the occupation? Will we then finally see this two-state solution being addressed?
Yeah, you're quite right. The broader issues still remain, even if Hamas is completely removed. And we hope, and it's sad that many people suffer on both sides because of this current conflict, but we hope that this current conflict that has emerged over the last week will steer the parties into a totally different direction, because we've seen this happening over many, many years, and it's very sad that we have not come closer to solving the main issue between Palestine and Israel. And hopefully this dark hour that we are witnessing will bring about a totally different assessment of the situation, and may hopefully also cause the parties to reconsider the paths that they've been traveling on and how to solve this once and for all, because it can't go on like this.
Now, Prof, let's talk about the issue of aid. I mean, there is a humanitarian crisis in Gaza currently. I want to talk about the United States position in as far as this is concerned. I mean, this week we saw the U.S. veto a United Nations Security Council resolution, first on Monday and then on Wednesday, that would have called for humanitarian pauses to allow for the aid, to access the Gaza Strip. But on the other hand, we are hearing the U.S. saying that they have details of a deal to send aid through the Rafah crossing, and they are hammering that out now. What is the delay, and where does the U.S. stand in all of this?
Well, what I gather from news reports and from statements made by Biden is that they are in support of letting humanitarian aid through. But there might be practicalities with regard to that. From the Israeli side, the fear might be that it might be exploited by Hamas, and Hamas may get hold of the humanitarian aid. And that, I think all parties there, and even the international community, would like to prevent that from happening, because humanitarian aid must get through to those who suffer the most at this point in time. That's the ordinary population. So I don't think there's an objection to that. I think it's about technicalities, how to do it practically and in the best way possible. And those sort of factors may delay the delivery of the aid at this point in time.
Prof, thank you so much for your time. That's where we have to leave it for now.